Our top story now, they on a mission to avert a crisis. The Democratic Alliance has held a meeting to resolve issues, or should we say, the unfolding crisis in the party following the resignation of a number of senior leaders. To talk to us about yesterday's meeting now is party spokesperson Solly Malatsi, who joins us via Skype. Mr. Malatsi, thank you very much for your time. What came out of that FedEx meeting?
Good morning, Oli. What came out of the FedEx meeting was the direction from a legal opinion that we had indicated that we will be seeking about how to best navigate the space of ultimately filling the vacancies that exist within the leadership that we had. Before the conclusion of that meeting, Mr. Maimane then resigned from the party and from his seat as a member of parliament, which meant that he was no longer parliamentary leader and we didn't have a parliamentary leader. So as a result of the sequence of that event, Federal Executive resolved on two processes. One was that Federal Council will be convened as quickly as possible so that we can elect an interim federal leader and also an interim chairperson of the party. The parliamentary caucus then met at 9:30 yesterday, wherein following that meeting, the chairperson of the parliamentary caucus, who in terms of our rules becomes the interim parliamentary leader for this period, opened nominations for the election of a parliamentary leader, because a parliamentary leader for the party in parliament has to emerge from amongst members of the National Assembly caucus. So those nominations are open and will be closing today by the end of business today. And a request has been made to the Federal Executive to waiver a regulation within the party of having an election within 7 days after the nomination period. So we are waiting now Federal Executive to accede to that request so that the elections for the parliamentary leader at least can take place ideally next week, so that there can be no vacuum of leadership in terms of the party at a parliamentary level, while logistics are being put together for the Federal Council to meet so that there can be the election of the interim federal leader and the interim federal chairperson.
Mr. Malatsi, this is a crucial rebuilding time for the Democratic Alliance. People are suggesting that credible leaders have got to take over now. Who in the DA right now would you say is possibly the front runner, or perhaps give us the top three at least of those people that are being put forward?
I haven't seen the nominations as yet, because they opened yesterday and they will close by the end of the day. So by the end of the day, we would have an indication of the individuals who have been nominated for the parliamentary leader role. And then from there, they will have to then lobby the other members of the caucus to be able to persuade the caucus as to why they believe they are the best individual to fill this vacancy and to lead the party, as you correctly say, through this difficult phase while we prepare to go to early Congress next year.
Is Helen Zille eligible?
Helen Zille is not eligible to become a parliamentary leader nominee simply because he is not a member of parliament and he is not a member of the DA's National Assembly caucus. The nominee for parliamentary leader has to come from amongst members of parliament.
What about the party leader? I'm talking about the actual leader of the DA, the position that was left vacant by Maimane.
So the conversation around that position for now is for the interim leader. Helen Zille is currently the Federal Council leader, and she is committed to serving her role as the Federal Council leader. So she would stick to that role. And then the party, when Federal Council is convened, will have an election for the interim federal leader and interim federal chairperson.
Mr. Malatsi, very, very briefly, this morning suggestions being made by the leader of the UDM, Bantu Olomisa, that Maimane was possibly pushed out of the DA because of the complaint that he laid against President Cyril Ramaphosa around that 500,000 rand donation from Bosasa's Gavin Watson. Is that primarily the reason why he was hounded out of the party?
With due respect to General Panto Holomisa, that is absolute nonsense.
Thank you very much for your time, DA spokesperson Solly Malatsi.